I'm going to pick up here where I left off there, which is about the fact that we are speed, and the density of our being and our thoughts is what slows things down. And I talked about a lot over there. So it's like a conversation that has evolved over the last, I guess, hour or so, because I was on live on Instagram. So listen, if you are a wise, dangerously potent black woman, okay, I did a post on Facebook this morning. You can go read that to hear the description of who I'm talking to here, because I'm talking to very specific black men and women. This is not all black men and women. So for those of us who are dangerously powerful, we're wise, we're hidden. The world has told us we're unwelcome our entire lives. Our family life often told us we were unwelcome. We have the keys to the advancement of humanity. Now, I'm not looking at us to save the world in the whole save the world way. I'm looking at us saving ourselves. Okay. I'm looking at us having meaning, having unconventional lives that are meaningful and satisfactory to us. Okay. And for those who choose to go be of service in a more active way, so be it. If your service is to your life and your family that you create, that's fine, right? It's your choice ultimately. And I know many of us are compelled to serve others. Okay. Um, I'd like to have a conversation, just one conversation. Look, if it goes somewhere, great. If it doesn't go anywhere, great. If you are now, like today, yesterday, the last several weeks, the last several years, are feeling yourself feeling urgent about coming into your full spectrum power, you're feeling yourself, maybe you've been self-destructing, you have, you know, you're currently living inside of a lot of the burden of not doing what you know you're to be doing, right? When you know you're not doing the thing and it tortures you, it follows you, you never can really sleep well, you never can go about your life well because the thing that you know you're to be doing like haunts you. Okay. And and I know that my email is beneath this video also. I know that it's difficult. I have not found any coaching program, no, nothing, none of none of it, none of the things to do this work. So I just talked about this on Facebook. We are pitifully unaware of who we are as dangerously potent black women. And the environment that's required for us to get to know it, the beings inside of that environment, their willingness to be boundless, to be love, meaning like stay in your heart and purify your heart so you can actually let it be present in interacting with folks. So the boundlessness, the exploration of yourself without judging yourself, the willingness to interface with your unconscious deliberately. Okay. Let me check something real quick. Pardon me. Okay, enough. Um, anyway, so I'd like to have a phone conversation with you if you are in this place now. I'm not saying that you and I are ever going to work together. I'm not saying that the environment over here is right for you. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is let's move the energy. Um, we are complex. So much of who we are is hidden from us right now because we have not been in the environment, felt supported, felt safe, and we've been so weighed down with the psychic burden of how the world has engaged with us, how we've internalized a lot of how the world has engaged with us. And so a lot of the psychic weight of just living in this world this way, being in relationships that have not been conducive to our maturation. That looks crooked, huh? Anyway, where am I? Okay, there I go with that. Let it go. Um, so I'd like to have a conversation with you. One conversation to get the energy moving, because what it can open up for you in a conversation you'll have next week, next month, etc. Um, and then also for myself, what it could open up. It is time to open it up. It is time to advance this thing. This us looking at each other, sitting, waiting. There's nothing to wait for. Boom. And this brings me to speed. Oh my God. This brings me to speed. We slow it down. We slow it down. We slow it down. We slow it down. We are speed. What do I mean by that? It comes, make the call, do the thing. Da, da, da. What do I do? Do that. Go that. Da, 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 da. Like that's how we are. This it's time for this. That happens, did it? Right? But instead, because we're so psychically loaded down. So what does this look like? You say, I'm ready to build a community. Just quietly to yourself. Okay. Is this me or is this thing like leaning and it's distracting? My God. Pardon me. I'll fix that later. You say, and this happens in so many ways, but like I'm ready for a community. You just quietly say to yourself, I'm ready for a community of women who oh, here's one that actually happened that I can remember right now. So I was researching the Black psyche. Okay, there are things in the Black psyche that are not in non-Black people's psyche. And in my research, I came across this Black woman. Her was a book she wrote. No, she wrote an article on Psychology Today that was online, and her phone number was there. Email. I called her right then and there on the spot to have this conversation. She answers the phone. This was last summer. She answers the phone. I tell her who I am, how I got her number, why I'm calling, and we start talking. We only have, when I call people unplanned like that, I'm always like, okay, how much time do we have here? Because I'm very time aware, especially when I'm dealing with other people. And she's like, yeah, I have 15 minutes. So we're in the conversation with awareness that there's 15 minutes. And I'd already read her article, already knew my intent to talk about the Black psyche and us, having another, like I knew we had 15 minutes. So I wanted to talk to her again thereafter, later. And I brought up her article, some points in her article. Then I shared my awareness and what I had uncovered. And all this happened very quickly because, again, this was all within actually less than 15 minutes. I think I looked at the time and we had been on the phone for like 11 minutes. And she was on the phone. She was like, oh my God, I'm having chills. Right. And basically what I was saying was part of what she was researching. It was like in that conversation, so much happened very quickly. Okay. And we could have continued along that line of speed, and she put up a stop. So I said to her, okay, we're coming up on our 15 minutes. Um, would you like to schedule another time to talk? Yes. Okay. Do we want to open our calendars now? She says, no, you can email me. I could feel in that moment that she chose not to open her calendar because she wanted to slow it down. I could feel it. Okay. So I emailed her, fine. Okay. Okay. That's an example of slowing it down. Then I emailed her and she never emailed me back. That's one example of slowing things down. We are speed and we are scared of the speed. We don't know how to. This is why I want us to have this conversation for those who are ready. Like, obviously, right? This is where I am now. Okay. And I'm talking with women, and women are at different levels of readiness. And it really is a personal compelling. Okay. Um, you ever think quietly to yourself, I'm ready for a community? Or anything that you just quietly said to yourself, and then boom, you get a phone call, you get an email, you see something online, and then fast, and then something else happens fast, and then you slow it down. You say it's too good to be true. It's too much. It's not. We are speed. What I know for certain, and I've been readying myself to be available in the event that the right one is in physically in my realm. Okay. When the right black man, it could be man and man, it could be woman and woman, it could be man and woman. When the right two or more come together in equal agreement to do specific work, speed will activate. The only thing that's going to slow it down is that can slow it down is one of them. By, no, I don't want to open my calendar right now. You can send me an email. This is too good to be true. Going to talk to somebody else about it. um, well, let me think about it. Let me go consult. This is why I talked about this on Facebook this morning. The environment for us to like a house. This is one example of an environment. A house where 2, 3, 4 of us live with the agreement of the unconventional life that we're living to create the conditions, the environment for us to explore things that is foreign to us, things that come out of us that are foreign to us, and even to expound upon things that we've touched on, that we've dreamt about, but we sort of leave it in the periphery of our lives. We never bring it to the forefront to really examine it, extract the gold, and have it anchored into our being to where we now are the beingness of it. We're not the dream, over peripherally. It is now anchored into our being, and now we willed as a being who's embodied, okay? That we can then interact with speed without avoiding because we're scared of the speed. Like, see, right, and right now we're unable to live as speedy beings because of the density of our psyches, of our lifestyles, and the homeostasis that we live in, and our routines, and our whatever your life looks like. And I'm telling you, there are people out here. We're among the few. I'm one of them. Rachel is one of them. Her husband is one of them. Are among the few who are built for this. It requires a purified heart. It requires somebody whose mandate has been, like, you have specifically been instructed in this lifetime to do this. This is not something that, you know, yeah, you've been mandated. It's the spiritual mandate. Okay. So this is few. This is not all black people. This is not a big old, this is for specific people who have been given the mandate and they literally cannot not do it. Right. And they've lived long enough, run from themselves long enough, have overturned and looked at this so many different ways, have, you know, traveled, have been in conversation with their highest and lived so many different lives in this life, to now they're able to withstand standing fully in their mandate to be with the speed of being with the two right folk, being with the speed of things moving quickly that opens the way for living in transcendental energy and creating results out of a transcendental being in transcendental states, and easily able to withstand. Man, this is work. This is an environment. The right environment is so important. Able to withstand everything out here in this normal world. We eat easily and swallow easily everything in this normal world when we truly are living in transcendental states. All right, that's enough. I'll leave you with this. I'll be referring to Jung a lot. And one last quote I have here from him is a man who has not passed through the infernos of his passions has not overcome them. A man who has not passed through the infernos of his passions has not overcome them. And based on what I've read about, like the quote I think I shared earlier about he had this huge attraction to this woman who became his second wife. He called her his second wife. And he knew that if he didn't pursue that, that it would swallow him and that he would create a psychic burden that then his children would pay for. And he said this to Barbara. Barbara wrote about it in one of her writings. Barbara was one of his analysts. And that was a passion right there, Tony. And he talked about how Tony taught him. And she helped him reveal what was in the unconscious and really develop what was coming out of him around the unconscious. And his wife, he called Emma, his wife, first wife, the foundation for the house. And he called Tony the fragrance in the house. Okay. They were aware of each other. There was jealousy. See, this is what I mean by transcendental and purifying of the heart, because in the writing of different analysts who wrote about their relationships said that there was jealousy, and that the transcendental energy that they were in and love in the end is what helped them not to destroy one another. And Tony herself said that the feminine instinct to want to pull a man from his wife and have him for your own, she fought that. She made it her mission to fight that, because the man that Jung was with her and for her, he could not have been that man without Emma, the foundation, his first wife. All of that because them three together would travel to conferences together. They would have meals together. The whole beingness of that is a transcendental state. As I said on Facebook earlier, the rules that govern this, which is oftentimes the lens that most of us are looking through to make our decisions, you're not going to make the decisions that the principles that are baked into your hard wiring. There's a clash. There will always be a mismatch. You will always feel wrong, bad. No, if you are looking through the lens of the dominant system to make the decisions about what's going to serve the hard wired, deeper, compelling power in you. We are required a transcendental environment, because the intelligence in our melanin the power in us that's currently invisible to us, we will only be able to be in relationship with every single day and not go into amnesia, not feel the need to disconnect or turn away from it, can only happen in an environment that is transcendental. Yeah. So I would like to have the conversation with those of you who know that this is the conversation for you to have. Even if we just have one single conversation and that is it, I'm happy with that. If it goes somewhere, I'm happy with that. Let's move the energy, male or female. Let's move the energy. My email is beneath this video. Thank you so much.